Hello and welcome back, LineStar's MLB DFS slate breakdown for Friday, April 14th. Let's get ready to roll. Before we do that, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our video. And also, if you're not a member of LineStar already, you probably should be. $29.99 per month gets you access to all the DFS, all the prop betting, best deal around. So let's get to it. Now, as always, let's go straight to ownership projections. Before we do that, we got a 12-game slate. Slate starts at 450, and on FanDuel, the main slate is the same, 12 games. So we're set up for success. Now we got the pitchers' ownership coming in high-owned. Nasty Nestor Cortez, almost 38% owned, 9,500. With today's pitching, I totally get it. Today's pitching is kind of a mess. This slate is kind of a difficult one, which is kind of fun. Pitching is kind of meh. There's not any spots that really stick out. And then you would think with so many just meh pitchers, there would probably be a couple stacking opportunities that really stick out, but it's just not the case. So it's going to be an interesting one to talk about today. So after Cortez, we have Kodai Senga, who he is probably my favorite pitcher on this slate. I'm surprised that he's coming in less owned than Cortez, especially after Minnesota's bats just went absolutely nuts yesterday. But Senga is definitely in the best spot. He's been really good to start the season. 26 points, 24 points, throwing 90 pitches. Could expect probably a couple more pitches on top of that today. And you got a great matchup versus the Oakland A's. 94 or 24.9% K rate, pitcher friendly park. Meanwhile, Senega's K rate so far this season is 31.1. So there is a real nice spot for him. The combined K rate 26.4. I think you got to really like that. I do think he's probably a little more expensive than he should, but for today, I would say probably just go up and pay it. It's most likely the most sure spot. Michael Wacha has been interesting. He's been pitching really well. This Milwaukee offense doesn't scare me that much. 26% K rate for them versus righties. And it's a 24% combined K rate for Wacha today. So I do like that at 8.1. Pretty interesting to me. And ownership's relatively low. Now, this one's a little interesting to me. We have Luis Garcia, who hasn't been great to start the year. However, I don't mind it. One, there's no Seager in the lineup for the Rangers. They're striking out at 26% versus righties. Combined K rate's 23%. We know Garcia is a decent pitcher, 3.97 FIP. So he's pitched well in the past. He just hasn't really shown it too much to start the season, and they are at home. So I kind of like that. He's also had some pretty good games versus Texas. So I think that one is interesting if you want to get away from Cortez or Senega's higher ownership. And then as far as the lower owned guys, there's nothing that really is popping out to me. I think Sandoval is a really good pitcher. He's versus the Red Sox. It's cold in Boston. I think it was 58 degrees in Boston, which is really weird because New York, which isn't too far away, is almost 80 degrees. But I think Sandoval's in an interesting spot. We saw him in the World Baseball Classic. He looked really good. 3.22 FIP over his last 5 starts, 3.4 over the last 20, 23% K rate. I think there's some nice upside here with low ownership. So he's probably the one I would go to, if you're going down the board. Also, Justin Steele has been pitching incredible. He has the Dodgers, though, today. So might be a little hard to click that button against the Dodgers. But if you just check out some of these numbers here, we have, why can't I? There we go. Last 5 starts, 27.4% FIP, or not percent. It's just the FIP. 3.11 FIP over his last 20. 26% K rate. He's been a very good pitcher. His combined K rate today we have at 26.4. At 7.9, he's just too cheap for what his upside is. It's just scary to click that button because it is against the Dodgers, but he very well could pitch good tonight. So now let's get over to FanDuel, go over their ownership here. We have Morton coming in at 21%, most owned, then Garcia at 19%. This is way different than what DraftKings was showing. Nestor Cortez at 17, Senega at 14. I think Senega is probably where I go here. Not really that worried about paying the extra almost $2K from Morton to Senega. Morton just hasn't been great. He's struggled with finding the strike zone a little bit. His K rate so far over the last 5 starts is only 17%. I understand if you want to get there, especially on DraftKings where he's lower owned. But on FanDuel, I'm probably going to Senega. I'll take the less ownership. I'll pay up and go there. So now let's get into some stacks. Now, stack-wise, this is a very weird slate. Nobody's really coming in that I owned. The ownership, partly because it's 12 games, is just so spread out that you can play whatever you want. Literally any stack you want, you can play. Ownership does not matter. Don't even really consider it into your factor right now unless something happens throughout the day. But our highest owned stack is Cleveland. They are in probably one of the more favorable matchups, as well as Mets, which is coming in right under it. Our highest projected stack is the Rays, for good reason. The Rays just keep absolutely crushing. 13 straight, and they're going for history today with 14. So that's a pretty fun one to watch, but I think you got to like the Rays here. However, they are getting pretty expensive, so it's going to be hard to pay up for 2 pitchers and get the Rays also. Because today is a little bit mixed, I want to do it a little differently because there's so many different stacks that we can talk about in that I like. So Cleveland is the highest owned one for good reason. However, Trevor Williams, he's not a good pitcher, but he's not terrible. So with them being higher owned, Cleveland's probably not where I'm going to go. Cleveland also is a team that really strings together hits. They don't have a ton of power. So I don't love that one. The Cardinals, one of the best offenses in the league. However, they've been a little slow lately. They haven't been hitting the ball very well lately. And if you look at Johan Avedeo, his FIP is sub 4, 2.91 ERA. He's been decent over the last 5 starts. He's been super good. He is letting some hard contact go, but it's not like a slam dunk spot. I think my favorite spot of the day is the Atlanta Braves. Brady Singer, however, has been good. The one thing, though, with this that I really want to bring up, actually, I should say Braves are probably my second favorite. What I want to bring up is the hard contact rate and average velocity. Singer is giving up a ton of hard contact, and that is not something you want to do against the Braves. So the Braves also have a lot of ways to score. They have a lot of guys with speed, a lot of guys with power. So I think the Braves stacks are really interesting today, and KC's bullpen is bad. So it's something you really need into consideration. Now, my favorite spot is probably the Orioles, Orioles have been hot. They've been playing really well. They're at the Chicago White Sox. There's decent weather, decent run total here. And Clevenger has just been bad for a couple seasons now. 5.59 FIP over his last 5.24 FIP, 40% hard contact. So allowing a lot of hard contact, and the bullpen has just been terrible. So I really like that spot for Baltimore. Couple other ones that I want to bring up here. Tampa Bay we touched upon, but Berrios hasn't been good. He's allowing some hard contact. This 9.39 ERA is insane. The one thing, though, to bring up is that his FIP has only been 3.32 over his last 5. So he's ran into some bad luck. Absolutely. But I think we need to bring up some of the good offenses here where their run total is just slightly lower than the guys at the top. You have offenses like the Padres. You have the Mariners versus Gomber, who Gomber's not great, 4.4 FIP, 5.11 FIP over his last 5. The bullpen isn't great. So I think Seattle's in a good spot. Padres, Yankees are in a good spot. Yankees are really going to want to get back at the Twins after that whooping they gave them last night. So I think there's a lot of ways you can go here, and it's going to be a really interesting slate. I would absolutely make sure you're stacking today. I would expect 1 or 2 of these teams to go nuts where, you stack those teams and you're going to have a chance to win. But that will do it for us today, guys. I appreciate you spending the week with me. Let's get it today. Let's make some money, and I will be back with you guys on Monday. Have a good one. Bye.